Greetings, fifth grade. It is time for reading class. Please take out your Reader Writer Workshop book and your turn practice book. All right, Reader Writer Workshop book, you want to open up to page 338. Here we go. This is where you are going to read the short story, Forest on Fires. Actually, it's not a story. It is a piece of expository text about a topic. You can read this or you can listen along if you log into ConnectEd. Remember, if you do log into ConnectEd and listen to this being read, what should you be doing in your hardcover book while you listen to it? That's right. You should be following along in your textbook, following along, working on those reading skills. All right, pause the video right now while you read Forest on Fire in your Reader Writer Workshop book, page 338. Pause the video now and read. All right, now that you have read Forest on Fire, turn in your Reader Writer Workshop book to page 343. 343. This is where we are going to learn about a skill in reading called compare and contrast. And yes, we did do this with our last story, but we're going to go a little bit further this time. Compare and contrast. Follow along in your book on page 343 while I read about compare and contrast. Writers may organize a text to show how an idea is similar to or different from another idea. To figure out if a writer is using a compare and contrast structure, look for signal words and phrases such as however. However shows a contrast, a difference. On the other hand is a phrase that shows a difference. And just as shows actually a similarity or a comparison. Find text evidence. The first selection tells how wildfires are both like storms and unlike storms. This comparison helps me understand that both forces of nature have uses. Wildfires may be mostly destructive, but like storms, they can also be useful too. Graphic organizer. Rainstorms and wildfires. Rainstorms, both. Wildfires. Rainstorms. Mostly help plant, animal, human life, can be destructive. Both are forces of nature. Wildfires mostly destroy plant, animal, and human life, can be helpful. All right, so in summary, we have some signal words that help you know when you are reading if the author is making a comparison contrast. They might use a word or a phrase like however, to show a difference. They might use a phrase like on the other hand to show a difference, or they might use the phrase just as to show a comparison, how things are alike. So be on the lookout as you read through text, especially expository text. All right, now you get to practice. Take out your turn workbook and turn to page 212. You're going to do this whole thing and you are going to do it special, just like we did last time. Go ahead in your book right now, add in these additions that you have right here. Over the overlapping part of the Venn diagram, Mrs. Oryx's favorite diagram, the overlapping part, write both, either at the top or at the bottom. And then for the left-hand side over here, you're going to label that circle productive. Write productive either at the top of the circle or at the bottom of the circle. Leave space in the middle for your writing. And then the circle on the far right, you're going to write destructive, destructive. And in this section, you are actually going to do what was on the last page down at the bottom. Reread the human factor on page 341. Compare and contrast the impact that humans have on fires as described in this section. So you're going to reread just that little section of the human factor on page 341, and you're going to decide, the human factor, when it comes to forest fires, how is the human factor productive? How does it produce something or give a benefit, a positive thing? How does the human factor with forest fires create a destructive thing? How can the human factor, what humans do, be destructive according to the text? And then here's the both. This one's kind of tricky, so I did it for you. You ready? 3 answers. Here you go. Thanks for watching Mrs. Oryx's video. People control fires. So in both cases, people can control fires. Okay, that can be both a destructive thing if people start fires and they get out of control and we have property and acres, like way too much fire damage. It can also be a positive thing when people, like government officials, forest rangers, set controlled fires and they burn for a certain amount of time. They burn up some of that debris that would cause a larger fire if it would be lit unplanned. So planned fires are productive, but also when people start fires and they get out of hand, they can also be destructive. That's why people control fires or people starting fires is under the both category. Now, your homework is to put one, yes, that's right, I said one more example of just a productive way that people use fires when forest fires, and one destructive effect of people and forest fires. So one for productive, one for destructive, and of course, you're going to write down the free answer that Mrs. Ork gave you. All right, so in summary, you should have read already Forest on Fire on page 338 and 341. And then you should have followed along while we did the compare and contrast page on 343 in your Reader Writer Workshop book. And you should fill in your turn practice workbook, page 222. Now, how am I going to know you did this workbook page? You're going to finish all your writing, and you're going to take a clear picture and submit it to Google Classroom attached to this assignment. All right, 5th grade, that is all for today. It is time to say goodbye, and Mrs. Ork started waving goodbye a little early. Goodbye, 5th grade. Hope you enjoyed reading Forest on Fire and you maybe learned some things about people and how they are both destructive or productive when it comes to forest fires. All right, goodbye.